Hey everyone, it has been more than a quick minute since the last team's recap, but today there was an announcement put out on the tech community blog that I thought was worthy of dusting the microphone off for and exploring this announcement a bit more. I haven't left, when I say dust off the microphone, I haven't stopped doing videos, but lately it's been a lot of the device news, the room systems, the handsets, the mobile phone station. Been doing overviews and demo videos, so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, head over to my YouTube channel and check out all the recent videos. Today, though, I wanted to go back to my true form, back to covering a little bit of the news in this space and talk about this blog post that was put out on the tech community today. This is not just about Microsoft Teams, it is actually also about Skype for Business Online. Here we are. The headline kind of steals the thunder, right? Skype for Business Online is finally set to be retired in 2021. Now, this is something that is kind of been one of those writing on the wall things, especially if you're talking to customers and they're asking about, well, it's going to go away anyway, right? And do we know when? And there's really never been a commitment that, yes, it is going away. This is there's not. It's been kind of a soft assumption on some levels, right? Depending on who you talk to, etc. Well, the waiting and wondering and guessing, it can finally be put to bed. We have an announcement today. As with several retirement announcements that we've seen in the last year or so, it doesn't mean that Microsoft couldn't change this timeline, slide it back, whatever the case may be. But we do see the real intentions of what Microsoft has in store for Skype for Business Online poured out in this post. Very first sentence there, July 31st, 2021 is when they are aiming to shutter this service. That gives you 2 years, almost to the day, between now and when Skype for Business Online should cease to function as a service. There's clearly still work to be done between now and then. We know that Skype for Business Online and some of the architecture there is kind of a required component for going from Skype for Business on-prem to Microsoft Teams, so there's some things to be done in that arena. But let's talk about what the retirement plan looks like and why they're making the announcement, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some things they want us to know as we consider what this is going to look like in the future. First, the retirement plan. July 31st, 2021. After that date, they do not plan on having the service running any longer. Okay, that's supposed to be the drop dead, we're done. However, leading up till then, if you are still a Skype for Business Online customer and you haven't been automatically nudged in the team's direction in the background, you will still be able to add users and manage the service and use it as it is up until that point. Again, there have been a lot of efforts to get customers into Teams if they fit a certain description on a kind of almost automated scale. And so this, should be taken with a bit of a grain of salt. If you fit into the block of users who are not being automatically moved out of that service, this is what you'll be able to continue to operate in it until that day. So it gives you a little bit of something to stamp on the calendar. Starting September 1st of this year, that's really almost a month away. They will onboard all new Office 365 customers directly to Teams for chat, meetings, and calling. Now, note we're talking about Office 365 customers. These are not your hybrid customers. These are anyone new in Office 365. They are not getting into Skype for Business Online. They are going straight to Teams. Skype for Business Online won't even be a thing in their minds. That is the plan. That is the retirement timeline we're talking about there. They do want to call out in the last sentence there that Skype Consumer Service and Skype for Business Server both still unaffected by this announcement. On the Skype Consumer Service, more to come. Why are they making the announcement now? They kind of talk a little bit about what Teams is, why they launched it. You can read through some of that fluff and all that. However, the point of this paragraph is really to say that they are fully confident that at this stage in the game, Teams not only is a suitable replacement for Skype for Business Online in all the ways that Skype for Business Online already functions, but it adds value and then opens the door to a whole different way of working in the whole Microsoft 365 realm. All these different services get tied into Teams. That is not really the case with Skype for Business Online. So they kind of paint that picture in a much more eloquent way than I just described verbally. But go ahead and read that. They also have a white paper published by Forrester at the bottom that they link to, the total economic impact of Microsoft Teams. So check that out as far as the reasoning. Okay, what is Microsoft doing to kind of entice or help incentivize those customers to get into Teams sooner rather than later? They list a good handful of bullets here. None of these are new things, really, except one is newish. But they put a little bit more definition to some of them. First, like they say, several product investments that they're addressing to make these Skype for Business Online customers comfortable. Dynamic E911. All right, everybody's been asking for this, at least here in the U.S., for quite some time now. Wasn't present in Skype for Business Online. Will never be present in Skype for Business Online. But it is coming to Microsoft Teams, and they say in this last sentence here, it will be delivered in the United States by the end of this calendar year. So just a few short months, the last half of this year, we should see Dynamic E911 land. Shorter retention periods. This has been kind of an ask for quite a while. The 30-day period was really just not ideal for a lot of organizations' wants and needs. They are shortening the minimum amount of time for retention period to 1 day for those retention policies. And this applies to those channel chat messages as well as the private chat messages. So you'll now be able to create shorter retention periods for those chats. Again, available by the end of this calendar year. Teams and Skype Consumer Interop. This was a fairly recent announcement. Previously, it had been said Skype Consumer Interop was just not coming to Microsoft Teams, which left a lot of us scratching our heads like, why? And so that had been a big request, big ask. It turns out a lot of people actually use that. And Microsoft went ahead and evaluated it via user voice, which is why you should use user voice. They listen, they check that out. They look at the feedback and the traction that a request gets, and they are going to be implementing Skype Consumer Interop with Teams. A little bit longer timeline on that. They're looking at the first quarter of 2020. So that is on the horizon. If you're planning that into the mix or wondering when it's the right time for you, and that's a critical component, that's the timeline you have to look at, Q1 2020. Next up, they kind of reiterate that, hey, we're working with a bunch of partners to integrate contact centers and compliance recording solutions that are more native to the Microsoft Teams experience. Really nothing new in this statement at all. Still no timelines put to that. No other information than what you already had from previous announcements at Inspire. So there you go. Finally, down here we've got several links to the learning, technical guidance, your planning resources, some free instructor-led training, and of course, always the fast track onboarding assistance if you are in an eligible subscription. So that's what they give you as far as resources. Finally, this last paragraph almost feels like a farewell. This is why we're doing this to Skype for Business Online, etc. They talk a bit about Skype for Business as a whole. They talk a bit about how the service has evolved into Teams when it comes to the online portion. And they talk about the fact that they are fully confident that Teams is ready to take over all the components and pieces that Skype for Business Online had been doing for customers. So there you go. That's the big news of the day. Everybody has been wondering, when is Skype for Business Online going to be going away? We all know and believe it is. The writing is on the wall. That announcement is here, July 31st, 2021. You've got 2 years to sit on that platform if you're still eligible to be on that platform before you are going to have to move to Teams in some in some shape or form. And if you're getting ready to start an Office 365 subscription, your window for starting with Skype for Business Online is very short. You have until September 1st to where that's not even an option anymore for new Office 365 customers. Hope that helps. Hope that helps answer the question of when and what are some of the things Microsoft's doing to make this a decision that makes complete sense and adds a ton of value to what we already had in Skype for Business Online. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on the next Teams recap, whenever that may be. In the meantime, Lots more device videos coming through, so keep an eye out. Thank you. We'll see you on the next video.